A judge has ruled that Live 5 News should be granted records that the Charleston County Sheriff's Office didn't want you to see. But those documents had already been released to another media outlet. The agency says it was done by mistake, but now they are going to have to turn over those records to our newsroom. Blair Sable explains just how soon that could be.
Though former Chief Justice Jean Toll ruled in favor of Live 5 today, we most likely won't see these public records for at least a few weeks. But our attorney on the case, Mark Pepper, calls her ruling a win.
I don't know that it could have gone much better. We won every single motion that we filed.
The issue began when Live 5 News filed a Freedom of Information Act request asking for jail video calls of Jamie Komoroski, who's accused of driving drunk and causing the death of a newlywed bride earlier this year. Similar records had already been released by the Sheriff's Office to the Post and Courier. Opposing counsels, which include Sheriff's Office attorneys and the inmate in question's representative, cited privacy concerns, but no specific exemptions to prevent their release.
Is the Sheriff of Charleston County seriously arguing that the disclosure of public material like this would result in the inability to get a fair jury in Charleston County to try this case?
Pepper argued that public records law was clear.
That's exactly why we have FOIA, is we want to know what our government actors are doing. It's our right as taxpayers.
Pepper also says he expects the Sheriff's Office to file an appeal to the judge's order. Meanwhile, the department has declined to comment. At the courthouse in downtown Charleston, I'm Blair Sable.
Another judge has submitted a final order requiring the Charleston County Sheriff's Office to turn over jailhouse phone calls made by Komoroski. Last month, the judge ruled in favor of Live 5 after a lawsuit was filed over the Sheriff's Office refusal to release the video calls. The Sheriff's Office now has less than 3 business days to provide those documents.
I just can't wait to get out of here.
The phone calls the Charleston County Sheriff's Office didn't want you to hear.
And she's like trying to help me out. You don't need to, I don't want you in here, you should be with your family.
The sheriff accused of playing favorites toward a DUI suspect accused of killing a bride hours after her wedding.
She's the head deputy, whatever. She was really nice too.
After a Live 5 battle in the courtroom, we have obtained hours of calls and videos.
We don't care what happened, we care only about you.
A DUI suspect denied bond and still behind bars. Live 5 News at 11 starts right now.
Now, from the Low Country's news leader, this is Live 5 News.
Tonight, we are bringing you a first look of jailhouse calls involving a suspect in a deadly crash that killed a newlywed bride on Folly Beach back in April. 25-year-old Jamie Komoroski is charged with 3 counts of felony DUI. On April 28th, authorities say Komoroski rear-ended a golf cart on East Ashley Avenue. One passenger, Samantha Miller, who had just gotten married earlier in the evening, died in that crash. Her groom, Eric Hutchinson, and 2 of Hutchinson's family members were injured in the crash. Reports state that Komoroski was going 65 miles per hour when the posted speed island-wide is 25 miles per hour. A blood toxicology report shows that Komoroski's blood alcohol level was 0.261 the night of the crash, more than 3 times the legal limit in South Carolina.
I never get to see my daughter again. When she does get sentenced, after she does her time, she'll have the rest of her life with her family.
All I can say is one person is responsible for tearing our lives apart, and a community.
Well, in newly released footage, Jamie Komoroski can be heard discussing many things, including a visit from Charleston County Sheriff Kristen Graziano. Emily Johnson joining us now. And Emily, what more can you tell us about the allegations against the sheriff?
Yes, Michael. Well, many have questioned possible signs of special treatment from Sheriff Kristen Graziano towards Komoroski from videos that you are about to see. Graziano addressed concerns of favoritism. She wrote multiple emails saying there was in fact nothing to worry about. The footage was released today after weeks of legal battle between Live 5 and the sheriff's office, when the office refused to release public materials after already giving them to the Post and Courier.
Here's the up thing. So I'm not in like the regular part, like upstairs, because of everything like on the news and everything.
Following accusations of special treatment, footage of Komoroski shows her speaking with her boyfriend and father about Graziano, speaking to and visiting her in jail. Jamie says Sheriff Graziano is, quote, trying to help her out.
Like, my dad said for you not to like talk to anyone about like this or anything, but the deputy sheriff, like whatever, like the head person of Charleston County, I met with her today, and she's like trying to help me out.
The jail's website states that personal visitation is only online and only attorneys can visit in person.
Being really like sincere and like she really wants to help, and like so I'm really happy. She also is the one that got my mom and dad able to like visit me like in person, like through a glass, but like in person.
In logs of calls made by Komoroski since she's been in jail, records show she attempted to make 271 calls during her first 23 days in jail from April 29th to May 21st. Of those calls, only 128 were completed. Komoroski expresses to her loved ones through tears how concerned she is about how long she will have to spend in jail and what others will think of her once she gets out.
That just like makes me scared that the media is so involved in it. Why are they so involved in it? Like,
because it sells newspapers. That's why, baby.
but that's not gonna help me. Like, oh my God, it's gonna be so bad when I get out. Everybody's gonna be so mean to me.
Throughout the videos that we have watched so far, Komoroski appears to show no remorse towards the crash or even mention the victims.
I still just don't know why this had to happen to me. I don't want to go to prison for 15 years. And I'm just, when all of this is done, and I can just be happy.
One key thing to remember throughout this entire case is not forgetting about the life lost and those affected by the tragedy.
My daughter meant the world to me, and I'm sure their daughter means the world to them. She doesn't need extra time to hug her family. She'll get it in the end.
During Komoroski's bond hearing on Tuesday, the judge denied bond, saying he felt that she was a flight risk.
She didn't just kill my daughter. She killed all of us.
We spoke with Samantha Miller's mother and sister today in response to the newly released footage, with them saying, quote, "We are so happy with the results of the judge's call for the bond hearing on Tuesday. I don't know if any of these calls and transcripts were actually in play of the judge's decision." They also added, "It hurts, but Sam is who she is, despite the fact that she isn't here, and Jamie is who she is." Reporting in the studio live, Emily Johnson, back to you, Michael.
All right, thank you, Emily. Now, you could hear Komoroski referring to meetings with Sheriff Kristen Graziano. Live 5 News received a separate FOIA today involving emails sent by Graziano. Those emails show several people reached out to the sheriff's office with concerns about special treatment after reading an article from a New York publication. In an email sent on May 22nd, Graziano told one person that no special treatment had occurred and that it is, quote, "our responsibility to ensure proper care for those people, no matter who they are." In the same email, she says she has hundreds of residents in her facility that she is responsible for and makes every effort to accommodate reasonable needs and requests. The sheriff's office provided a statement to Live 5 News today that reads, "The sheriff does not have a special relationship with Komoroski's attorney. It is a professional relationship. What has been surmised by some of the Komoroski's video calls is not accurate in regard to any sort of special treatment. Some may think the situation is special, but it is not." Live 5 also received badge swipes that the sheriff made during the time Komoroski has been in jail. Those documents show Graziano has only visited with Komoroski twice and not at all since May. The sheriff's office says Graziano offered to set up a visit with the mental health director during that first encounter, and the second interaction was escorting the director to Komoroski's room before leaving.
Words of remorse from the woman charged with the drunk driving crash that killed a new bride on Folly Beach.
They are part of a conversation that our reporters found after combing through hours and hours of video and phone calls made by DUI suspect Jamie Komoroski. Video that we took to the sheriff's office to court for to be able to show to you.
The 25-year-old was arrested in April on 3 counts of felony DUI and 1 reckless homicide charge. Police say she crashed into a golf cart traveling on Folly Beach, killing newlywed Samantha Miller just hours after her wedding.
Cameron Bob joining us now here in the studio. And Cameron, we're learning more about how Komoroski feels in regard to that crash.
Yeah, and Ruff, you know, we've seen the tears at her recent bond hearing. We saw the tears in those video calls that we brought you last week. And now through phone calls, we're hearing that Komoroski is feeling remorseful, or at least she says she is. Take a listen.
We love you, Jamie. I love you too. You're a good person, Jamie.
Access.
It's a terrible, terrible mistake. You're not a terrible human being, Jamie. There's circumstances. You are a good person.
And how are you doing, baby?
I'm filled with
How are you, honey?
and remorse. I'm filled with regret and remorse. I wish I knew if I was going to get a bond or not.
Here at the end there, Komoroski circling back to whether she'll get bond. Now, that's a common thread we're seeing throughout all of these calls. Will I get out? Will I stay in? Well, as we learned last Tuesday, a judge would deny her bond, calling her a, quote, flight risk. Judge Michael Nettles said the state has until March of 2024 to try this case, and if they don't meet that, Komoroski will be allowed to bail out under certain conditions. You can read more about those on live5news.com. In the studio, I'm Cameron Bopp, and
Charleston County Sheriff's Office has been ordered to pay more than $33,000 for Live 5's legal fees after they fought to prevent you from seeing jailhouse video calls from a suspect in a deadly DUI crash. Now, this is all in connection to a lawsuit we filed in order to get those jailhouse calls made by Jamie Komoroski. She's charged in connection to the April crash on Folly Beach that killed newlywed Samantha Miller and injured several others. Former South Carolina Chief Justice Jean Toll ruled in our favor last month, saying the sheriff's office violated the Freedom of Information Act when they denied us those calls just weeks after giving them to another media outlet, the Post and Courier. In an order filed yesterday, Toll ordered the sheriff's office to pay our legal fees.